have the answer to that because I know that it's been done previously.
I think it was done when those buildings were built. And like I told you yesterday, there were multiple builders who were in here building these units. And with that said, how they decided to put stucco on one and not on another, I don't know. But I do know that when you do a material change, you have to get the approval. And a material change comes along when you take siding off of a building and you stucco. That is a material change. And what I'm saying is, they didn't have the authorization to do that from the owners. And it requires a 75%.
What I'm saying is, because other buildings have it, it may not be, and if you would like, or Charlie or Robin or whoever's buildings it were, we can go to the attorney. We may or may not need a vote for that. I don't know the answer to that
I
at
don't
this
think
time.
it was a bad idea. I'm not trying to give you a ration of shit, Charlie. I'm simply telling you, I don't think it was a bad idea. But we didn't follow the protocol that we have laid out, nor did Robin. I didn't follow the protocol on the signs. Okay.
So,
Can we forgive one another and let things move forward?
Well, not once an attorney has given his opinion to the board on how to handle it. We're gonna go against our.
No, wait, I said this to Nancy, and I'm gonna tell the board right now, we are not negotiating which things we're gonna violate. Charlie and Robin, if Nancy wants to make an official, complaint that you made, change the gables without opinion, then what we'll do is we'll go to the attorney and find out if that's true or not. And Nancy, your signs, we already have a legal opinion on. So as I mentioned, if things are being pointed out that have been done incorrectly, then we need to fix them and move forward, period. We need to fix them and move forward. Not negotiate, I'll keep mine, you keep yours.
I'm not trying to negotiate. I'm simply saying.
all right, let's keep moving forward.
Would the gables, would that be similar to like, I've seen like blue doors.
Well,
Wouldn't that be the same?
let's,
Yeah.
we're going off topic, move on.
No, but I'm just asking.
Move on.
Tom,
Yep.
can I?
You wanna leave?
Yep, quickly,
Nancy,
please.
I did want to point out that we did I've looked into 3 different contractors to try to match the siding, and that was impossible. Everyone that I spoke with said, you're not gonna match it, it's gonna look terrible, so that's a reason why the other option was the gables, so that it would coincide with the other clusters.
Okay,
We'll find out.
all right, Janet will research exact. We're not making an motion, we're not voting on, we need to open anything up for discussion, or we already did actually, so. We're gonna move on to security signs. You each have a map here.
No, security, no.
Accommodation here.
Huh?
Consideration.
Oh, wait a minute.
No, we're at
security sign.
discussion of parking, security signs. Discussion of parking signs, we haven't talked about security signs.
All right, so security signs.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. We do not have any surveillance videos, but I'm just asking the question, bringing it to the board, with the recent vehicles that have been stolen, is it any kind of a bad idea to put up any kind of a security sign, just to hopefully deter? We do have some cameras around the building of the clubhouse. I need to get into the system to see if they still work or not, or if that ancient computer system will even turn on. But I'm just asking the question, is I've identified, 12, 13 locations out by the dumpsters, hopefully preventing people from dumping trash.
Are these red dots where you're proposing
Yes.
to put the cameras?
No,
No.
just
Or
signs.
or signs?
Signs,
Okay.
just signs. Now, I don't want to lead anybody down a false hope that we have signs and they're protecting us. Maybe we need to look into some cameras. There's been some ideas brought forth of putting up security cameras at our dumpsters so we can hopefully catch either residents or people driving through in the middle of the night to,
I'm gonna put an end to that right now. You don't have any money this year to do any of that, so it's not in the budget.
Well,
correct, well,
Without another special assessment.
okay, but let me ask you this. If the security cameras out here, if we got one of them to work, right? Would that be enough to say, okay, we can, you know, we can put up these $48 signs, how many of them? 16 signs for $48 around the community to potentially deter someone, and it's not like lying, is it? I guess because if we have a working one here.
I think that is a question for the police, and I think they would advise you against, I've heard
Oh,
them
okay.
advise you
All right.
against putting signs up without the cameras.
Well, right, that's right.
So you do exactly what you said, Tom, give people a false sense of security.
Yeah,
How
you
much
don't
are the
wanna-
cameras?
You gotta.
I haven't looked into any cameras. I have not yet. Which, I'm just, if you'd like me to look into some cameras and stuff, I can look into some cameras and I'll bring it back to the board. This is just a discussion.
In December, in October, in
Well,
September, you know
correct.
what, in July or August, when before we're ready to do the budget.
Okay,
Can a cluster donate money toward it?
Considering every cluster here except two owes the master a large chunk of money right now, no.
Okay, just ask.
Yeah.
okay. You want to open that for discussion or no?
I mean, you can, but it's tabled.
Any
Tabled.
questions on this?
Bring it back.
All right. Discussion of, procedures for work orders, director contact. I put this on there. I would like to move back into the format of CNS handling work orders, residents submitting either online or email or by phone to CNS for any work order that they need done. Need wasp nest taken down, or, you know, hey, I see a railing handle that's broke or wobbly or whatever,
Or I've got water coming through my ceiling.
or whatever. I'd like to move back into the format to where cluster directors aren't,
Apartment managers.
I guess essentially, and CNS is our management company, finding our contractors, taking care of the work orders, whether Abram can do it, or we need to go out and get a licensed contractor, or this or that.
I like that idea because CNS, you would vet the contractor, right? You would make sure that the contractor we're using is licensed and insured, right? I like that idea.
Would we use your CNS?
I agree, Tom, I like the idea too, because that way, like Michael said, we have licensed contractors. We also have CNS on top of things, knowing what we can afford and what we can't. And also, they will be working with the vendors that they know of, that we can do the best job.
And they keep the director in the loop, right? We'd be copied on emails and such. We'd be kept in the loop as director.
When I get work orders, if they're for Abram, they can just go to Abram, but if they're for an outside vendor, I wouldn't even call, you know, somebody to fix the light without talking, just at least letting you know
Great.
that
They can't go to him.
that
He doesn't know how to use a computer.
Plus, with
Well,
Abram,
we'll
you
figure
guys
that out.
pay him out of the master account, so it seems only right that he takes his work orders from CNS.
That's fine with
Correct.
me.
in the order they come in unless there's some urgency or importance to them, yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
So-
Plus though, his regular, cause he has duties, like the bathrooms at dog stations or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
And picking up
Right.
garbage and
Yep.
trash.
He's got his normal,
Do you agree with this, Charlie?
This is all in our contract with CNS.
Yeah.
It's
It's
just the directors need to change their
Yeah.
practice.
Yes.
It's
We
an
just
attitude
need to let-
change by the directors.
Let
Yes.
CNS do their job.
yes.
Yep. And so that doesn't even take a vote or anything. We can say to you right now, right?
As
Yeah.
homeowners contact you, say please contact
Yeah.
CNS.
Yes.
We've already
And very
done it, but-
strenuously out loud, let me just tell people, don't call me and ask for a call back. There are 167 or 76 units here. I don't manage just Pebble Springs.
Okay, can
No.
So
I
this
cannot return phone calls.
This would mean directors
Yeah.
no longer get 3 bids directors no
That's why I
longer
said
have to go out and get 3 bids, and we don't have to find contractors, we don't have to, you'll do all that.
Yeah, we'll go out to a pool of contractors that we already know are licensed
Yeah.
and vetted. We don't have
It's gonna
preferred
save
ones.
us a lot.
Yeah, we don't have
you know.
preferred, so if you know of one that, like,
we
did a
can
good job,
suggest.
yeah, right.
But we're not burdened with, finding, searching for these people, these
Right.
contractors and.
Anybody have an issue with this?
I think she wants
I
to
have a
have a comment.
question.
Wait,
Nope.
one
Okay.
second. Is anybody on the board have more, because I thought Nancy.
I'm just questioning, if you're gonna keep all of us in the loop, because I need to know what's going on. I get questions from my people, and they'll ask me, when is so-and-so gonna be here to do this, or whatever, and that's information I wanna share with them. Especially
When there's a
with
work
regard
order,
to their unit.
if there's an outside vendor, absolutely. We will absolutely stay in touch with the owners. I think mostly, like, Abraham's will come in and, to get done and whatnot, but yeah, if someone's reporting like a water leak's an emergency kind of, but what else?
Yeah,
Like,
it is.
like the electrician to come and fix, if I have to contact Complete Electric or somebody to come in, I'm gonna ask the owner, what's the best number to reach you, so that the electrician can get a hold of you to make arrangements to get in to fix
Yeah,
the
the
light.
owner's gonna have direct contact. Now, you'll be kept in the loop, but the owner will be communicating, so the owner's gonna know already. You're not gonna have to, it's not your responsibility to tell the owner, they'll already be in contact because they're the ones that are gonna report it. And then Janet will keep you in the loop as to, hey, we're fixing this electrical over here for this.
Well, no,
unit.
I'd say to Nancy, I got a complaint from 7500, they need their lights out back, do you want me to contact the electrician? You're gonna say yes, and I'm gonna contact the
There you go.
electrician and put them and the homeowner in
But are we
touch.
gonna call an electrician for a bulb?
Well, no, isn't that
No,
a work order for Abraham?
Yeah, she would decide if that's a Abraham thing or if that's an actual electrician. And hopefully, if it's a light bulb that's 35 feet up in the air on the side of the building, that's probably not something we want Abraham doing.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
So, yes, correct. Directors and CNS will be in contact. I've been copied on everything of Duet's in her building, and I watched the process, and Duet, I don't know if you could, I think everything's been fixed, or at least addressed or taken care of,
Or is in the work?
or is in the works.
How are you gonna handle it with Abraham then, because he does not know how to use a computer?
We'll figure that process out.
Well, I'd like to know what that process is gonna be, because I'm gonna have to explain this to him.
Well, you won't have to explain it to them. Tom
Why?
can explain it, anybody can explain
Do
it to
you-
them.
So you can use a phone, right? Janet can call him. Right?
Yeah.
We can have work orders, in the shop for him.
He doesn't need to log into my system and get the work orders. I will send them to him in some way or another, however we end up deciding how that may be. Either helping him set up an email so I can send it to him, or send them to one of you who's gonna print them out and hand them to
You gonna
him,
buy him a
whatever.
computer?
What's that?
You gonna buy him a computer?
No.
He doesn't have one.
We'll figure out the easiest way between him and,
I'll print them for him.
I'll volunteer to be a liaison.
I already am. And don't try and tell me this is going well, because he's doing a great job.
Do you wanna print them though? Do you want her to send the request to you, work orders to
I
you?
don't know at this point. I mean, this just kinda came out of the blue, like so many decisions that are made outside of the meetings.
well, this is
Yeah,
at the meeting.
it's all on the agenda, and it's been out there for 2
Yeah,
weeks.
it's on the agenda.
At the end of the day, this is what CNS is supposed to be doing. This is what we are paying CNS to do.
I'm aware.
So let CNS manage us. That's all I'm asking. Let's let CNS manage us.
I agree with it. I agree.
Okay. Any other board discussion?
Nope.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, there's just, you moved, I didn't see
Do
it.
you have a comment?
All right. Anybody have a comment?
Can I speak now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I'm Kathy Chrisman, and I'm from, Unit 4. I do want to know what you consider to be an emergency, because for 2 months I've had mold growing up in my ceiling. Once I told my director, he moved on and said that it went to you and I had to get someone in to see if it was mold. It came out of my pocket, $650 I had to pay for them to come and say it's mold. And then I had to then get in contact with you because it was said, oh, well, we're turning everything to CNS now. So then I got with you. You wanted to send an adjuster out. You gave me a bill to give to my insurance company. Nothing has been done yet, except a plumber finally came to my house, knocked on the door unexpectedly, wanting to get up into my ceiling to see where it comes from. Number one, that would be the first thing to do. My insurance isn't going to pay for anything. They want to make sure that the leak has stopped. So it doesn't seem though you know what consistency or what the routine is to do something like that. You may have, you know, your companies that you go to, but the plumber and the insurance company both told me that the plumber needs to come in first. I'm not telling you what to do, I'm just telling you what the people that have come into this and see it, what they've told me what should be done. So now I'm still waiting for a restoration place to come in and take all this stuff out of the bathroom where it's been leaking. So then they want to send me again, they need my signature in order to come into my house, and a credit card, so they could take it out of my payment. So where is it my fault, or why do I have to give credit cards, or why do I get an estimate when this should be, you know, with the HOA or CNS or whoever? This was from a toilet, and the guy said that he would be giving you a report. Don't know if you got a report. I'm left out in the cold. I don't know what's going on, who to go to, so can you answer me a few of those questions and how the steps work to this? Now that I know CNS is getting called first, I know now that if anything ever happens in my household, that I will come to you and call you first, and I will not talk to anybody. I need something like that needs to be done fast. I got sick over that. 2 months, and I got pictures of it, tons of mold. And is that not an emergency to be taken care of right away?
Oh, yeah.
And it was kind of like thrown out. It pissed me off, really.
Yeah.
So, when you talk about your car signs and where you want to move to, but then something that really needs to be done with people, it gets blown under the cover. If it was your house, would you want to stay like that for 2 months? I bet you wouldn't. You just want to see something done. Yeah.
Petty stuff.
Okay. I'll speak to you privately about your personal situation. That's
Okay.
not on the agenda tonight, but the work order process, yes. We do offer an after-hour service, so if you have a leak after hours, you could call
Stuff like that would be good to know.
and you know, and get a live person that'll handle those and get them out there.
All right, there's no motion made, moving on, right? Okay. That'll just be in that. Moving on to consideration of owner request for reasonable accommodation. Not really divulging any names or addresses or anything, correct?
No, we went to ask because this particular reasonable accommodation is asking for an accommodation and the parking is in a different cluster than this person resides because it happens to be the most convenient. And hang on, let me make sure I'm in the right section. I don't want to lie to you. Oh. This is the opinion on the single board making body. I do have that one with me. Okay, on the guest spots, we're dealing with federal and Florida Fair Housing Acts is what he said. The request was reasonable. It didn't result in an expense to the association and it did not fundamentally alter the operations or administration. I said, can we designate it for use by this owner only If we're going to grant a reasonable accommodation, it only works if that individual can park there. The answer is yes. Do we have to designate it for that individual when they ask for reasonable accommodation? And again, the answer is yes. Each owner currently has an assigned carport for their singular use as a limited common element, but this would be a second spot for the owner if designated. It says that we must grant the accommodation if the person's access and use of the common elements or unit can be made easier by granting this closer space. And are there any other stipulations? The accommodation grant should state that it is limited to use by, and he just wrote Mr. Smith, right? Only and shall not be made available for use by others such as his guests, family members, vendors, and so on. In other words, that individual's vehicle only, and yes, we can put some kind of marking on the curb that designates it for that individual or that unit, as long as that individual is made aware that that does not apply to his spouse's car, his son's car, his doctor's car. It is for his vehicle. And with that said, and all those questions answered, I need a motion to move to grant the reasonable accommodation for that individual in the other cluster.
I have a question.
We have to get the motion
So
on the table.
moved.
Okay,
I'll
second,
second it.
anyone, okay, go ahead, Nancy, go
My
ahead.
question is, why are they being allowed to have two numbered parking spaces?
They won't have two numbered spaces.
What's happening with
Yes.
the
One
one
is
across?
for, no, one is for the one person.
Right,
Yep, and what about
only
the other
him.
one?
But the other one is for anybody else, yeah. it
The
would
other
be
one
for
is
their
numbered
spouse or
because
whatever.
cluster 2 doesn't have any carports.
I know.
So the other one is a numbered space where their second car is parked.
Can we move his assigned space to where,
I asked, each owner currently has an assigned carport, you could say space, whatever it is, for their singular use as a limited common element. But this would be a second spot if we designate it. And the attorney said, I understand that, but the Federal and Fair Housing Acts require the association to grant an accommodation if the person's access and use of the common elements can be made easier by granting this closer space.
But he can't drive 2 cars at one time. So my question is, why is he getting 2, in essence, reserved parking places? Because that's what he'll have. He'll have one that his wife can use, and he'll have one that he can use. She, from what I can tell, isn't not handicapped. You raised this question in an email that you sent in response to this original question, and that was in regard to 2 spaces that are numbered. I don't have a problem with moving his space, I think that's fine and dandy if it's easier for him. But I have a problem with taking a second space and having it be reserved for the spouse and not him. You know what I mean?
I do.
That's what I'm saying, you're gonna give
I
him
feel-
2 parking places.
I feel,
Everyone in Pebble Springs has an assigned space for their
Yes, we
unit,
do.
correct? Yes, you do.
Absolutely.
And on top of that, you have a reasonable accommodation for an assigned space.
Somewhere.
It doesn't affect the 176 assigned spaces already. I understand what you're saying, I do. But that is the question that we did ask the attorney, and he said absolutely you must give him the second space. For use by his vehicle only.
His vehicle.
And I'll
So what happens
second
with
motion.
the other parking place
It's already-
that's not gonna have his vehicle only parked in it?
That is just like your numbered parking space. What do you got for yours? You can use it, your husband can park in it, your
Got
guest
one
can
car.
park in it, right? Mhm.
The car is in the carport.
Mhm.
That's the only one we have.
Mhm.
The other ones are all common
can we
elements.
reassign his numbered parking space to cluster 6?
I can
Or do
read it
we
again.
have to- or do
You
we-
have
I've already
to
written
give.
twice.
No. Okay, because this affects me, it affects Custer Six.
Sure does.
Correct.
And the way I feel about it is that I would prefer that he have a if we're going to basically bring him a parking spot that's his, that he can use and only he can use. his wife can use theirs or whatever, wherever she wants to park. But I feel like, in that way, if anything ever happens to him, God forbid, that parking spot still belongs to cluster 6.
Correct.
I feel like if we put a number on there, it's gonna be, you know, whoever comes, if somebody else comes and buys that unit, they're gonna think that's their parking spot. I don't want that to happen. I want this fellow to know this is his parking spot for him. And I have no problem. with
We
that.
have to figure out, speaking of signs, like visitor, we have to figure out how we can indicate it. And it might be something like a sign that says reserved, all violators will be towed, and you know whether you got the reserved spot or not. There's only one person who knows they have the reserved spot.
Yes.
Easy enough.
And I say we let
I
this
don't
go
think
like
it's
this.
fair that they're gonna have 2 spaces.
Yeah.
It's
But
like
it's not
having.
fair that he has the handicap.
I am not saying take his space. I'm saying take hers.
Yeah. we
That can be
vote
a
on it.
visitor spot.
But again, the attorney has already said, you don't wanna get into this
Why
with
do
the
we
Fair
have-
Housing Act.
I
and
understand that part. It just,
They don't even have handicap.
it just doesn't seem like it's fair.
There's no handicap.
It just doesn't, I'm sorry, it doesn't.
Okay. Do we have any other discussion here on the board? All right.
Well,
I guess we have
yeah, and
to,
then.
we have to open it up.
Open it up, we have a motion on the table.
All right. Owner, any input?
Yeah, we were talking about, it's for a handicap, correct?
Correct.
Give them the parking space, because let me tell you something. Back years ago, we ran into a problem, a big problem, because of the handicap.
Yeah.
So legally, you give him the spot.
Absolutely.
Mark it some way, but give him the spot.
You
know,
remember
I
that?
feel-
Cause we were
Yeah, I
managing
remember,
that back then.
I've been here a long time.
Yeah.
Come on, people, let's get our thinking, our compassion, and please, please, let's stop this. Okay?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Any other comments?
It's the Clean Housing Act, just let it, I mean, it's cluster 6 giving up the spot.
Oh, I do not disagree. Any
I
other?
have one person disagrees.
I just don't
Well,
see
she
it.
has a point of view.
I
I think
have
it's valid.
No, we all-
It is a valid point,
It's, we have a motion,
but
we should vote.
yeah. Any other owner comments?
No.
All right.
Board discussion? Yeah? Okay. All
Okay.
in favor? Any opposed?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I,
Any,
Aye.
any opposed?
Yep. With
Motion.
reserve, I don't think it's right that she has a reserved space when he already has one. It's 1 per unit.
Motion passes. Consideration of application for denial.
Not much you can say there.
Yeah, there's not a lot we can say on this. Do I have a motion to deny the application? That all the board has read the materials on it?
I move to deny the application based on the attorney's opinion.
And have the attorney send a letter, right?
And have the attorney send the letter.
Can you explain that?
We,
No, they can't.
legally, we can't.
They can't.
We're saying as much
Kind
as
of,
we
sort
can.
of. There's, owners that have put in an application to reside in Pebble Springs, and for whatever matter, the background check, they have criteria that the board would like to deny.
Oh.
So they're making a motion to deny.
And he won't get sued for denying it.
I can't answer whether people will sue or not. I have no idea.
But we've all read the material.
Years ago, when my dad was director, this was 20 years ago, when my dad was director in 5, he denied one of the applicants because the wife had a criminal record. The owner took him to court, and it was decided that if he was going to deny it as a director of Cluster 5, he had to buy the unit. Now, this was years ago, I don't know if it's changed.
Well, the statute has, because I don't think they're allowed to do that anymore. That's actually in the statute that the board can't.
Just
But I
didn't
will
want-
say
just
this,
Didn't want
this
you to
is
get in
not,
trouble.
yeah, this is not random. We went to the attorney before asking the board for this motion.
Okay,
So,
I just didn't want you to get in trouble.
yeah.
Yep.
And the attorney's sending the letter, I'm not,
Okay.
handling it.
Okay.
All right, Charlie made a motion. Did someone second?
Second.
Okay, Tom.
All in favor?